thoughts are thoughts are movements within, and if you if you want if someone's just telling you think positive thoughts, right? I think the results of this is the immediate result is you're gonna feel good, and this can be deceiving because becoming the person you want to be is not about feeling good. Let's be clear, right? Success is not about feeling good. You want to be successful. Let's call it what it is. You want impact. And sometimes impact does not equal a good feeling. We need to be clear. So when you're hearing all of this stuff, you really need to know what it is you're going to produce when you ingest these ideas and execute on them. I want you to get to your goals. If your goal is to feel good, then yeah, absolutely. Only have positive thoughts. Never have any kind of negative thought, or at least control the negative thoughts. Absolutely. And everybody should strive to this. But I don't want anyone to confuse feeling good and having a positive feeling with actually becoming who you're supposed to be. And it is also not thinking, and it's not just thinking and envisioning the thing you want. It's not just that, because a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I want wealth." Oh my God, that's terrible. There's nothing wrong with wanting these things, but you're not going to get them simply by thinking about them or wanting them. I mean, just because a man is hungry doesn't mean he's going to get fed. That's not how life works, right? I want money. I want to be, um, I want to be, I mean, it could be anything. I was trying to think about, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a surgeon. I want to be a celebrity, right? Simply thinking, right? I want the thing and I'm thinking about the thing is not going to get you the thing. If anything, the result of thinking about the destiny, the goal, will corrupt the direction. And take that with a, take, just suspend your disbelief for now and assume I'm correct. And then we'll work backwards. Assume this premise is correct, right? And I'll explain why. And I need you to pay attention very carefully and write this stuff down. Don't don't focus on where you want to be. It sounds horrible, right? And I say that carefully because there are things you should focus on, right? There are things you should obsess about. Don't get me wrong, but don't think about these things. Don't think about the goal necessarily, right? The focus should be on the identity, not the destiny. Don't worry about the destiny. Focus on the identity. Because if you're focusing on, oh my gosh, I want to be a billionaire, you're going to do everything wrong. You're going to do everything because there's this law. Let me finish that thought first. I'm having like 100 different thoughts at the same time. Um, by virtue of thinking and focusing on the end game, you're going to make mistakes thinking, I've got to follow other people's paths. I've got to do exactly what person A did, person B did, and I'm the C person, right? And I'm trying to get wealth, money, become a doctor, become a surgeon, become a celebrity, become the president, you name it, right? Have their impact. And you're going to try and follow their path, and guess what? You are going to fail. You will fail. And the reason being, and this goes back to a kind of principle in quantum mechanics, right? And these principles just like it's cool because they go beyond just the domain that they apply to. They also apply to real life. They're principles, and principles can be extracted and applied in other areas, right? So why am I saying don't focus on them? There's this idea that if you focus on a quantum particle, right? I think something like an electron, maybe not a quantum particle, but an electron. I think it's the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. I think that's what it is. And it says like if you focus Like you by intentionally focusing on a particle, you kind of distort where it actually is, right? And it's impossible to know both the velocity and the speed. So by observing something, you interfere with it. You interfere with its location. So a lot of people focus on wealth, and guess what? They distort the location of that wealth for themselves. And that wealth will appear somewhere else, right? So this is Josh's or James's location of their wealth in the graph of possible materials and both metaphysical and physical in the known realms, right? In all of the universe and all of the realms that could possibly exist. And Josh's and James's are right there, and you're saying, "Oh, I want wealth," because what's been known so far, these have been actually pinned down in reality, and so yours is right here. But because all you know is "I want wealth," you're going to be going down someone else's path, and you're going to make the mistake. You have distorted it because by following your path, you would get here, and you would bring this into reality. Does that make sense? I can clarify this, right? If we need to go deeper into this. That's why I say, and I say carefully because I don't want people to get the wrong idea, right? Because there are certain principles that exist that are beyond me, but this one made sense to me, which is why I'm not saying, oh, I want to have 1 million subscribers. Oh, I want to have a Lamborghini, or I want to speak to an audience of 10,000 people. My goodness, because the direction to get there might not look the way I want it to look. And things will get discouraging, right? And I might be saying, "Oh, I'm thinking positive thoughts." But when things get uncomfortable because I'm trying to get to my place, to the place that I want to be, right? Because I want to be successful and I want to have that impact. When I get the negative feelings, when I get the stimulus, right, that tells me, "Oh my goodness, this is actually difficult. No wonder this is challenging. This is why it's not easy to get to this point," right? Uh, then it doesn't feel good. And then it starts to impact everything, disrupt everything. So that's why I say, don't listen to the idea of, oh, positive thinking, alignment, right? The theme, don't focus on the theme. Let me be very careful on the destiny. Don't focus too much on it. It's there. You know that that's something you want. Absolutely. Everybody wants things, but don't focus on it. Focus instead on the identity. I hope you can see this. I hope the camera is not too low. Why am I saying this? Because your identity is a certainty, right? This is something that you know for a fact you own. Consciousness, another word for this is your consciousness. I don't know if I'm spelling that correctly. Oh, AI and technology has really ruined our ability to spell. Um, Identity, right? Identity is a certainty. I need you to tell yourself that your identity is a certainty. You know for a fact you have an identity right now. And guess what? I'm looking at the room right now, and my identity is is proportional to the experience I'm having. It's a fact, right? If if my identity shifts for better or for worse, my house, my life, the things around me will rapidly shift. It won't take long. Think about think about if you've ever been or if you know someone, or if you have experienced addiction, like serious addiction will warp your identity to the point that your environment will respond. That's the first example. Committing a crime isn't the kind of action that shapes, reworks the identity. And the output, the destiny behind that is destructive. So those are very clear examples um, of, I mean, another example is you get super educated for whether in an actual school or self-taught, right? And the result is that you are marketable, right? You are able, somebody is going to say, wow, this person has this value. This is the value you bring into the marketplace. We can pay them this much. So that's why I say focus on the identity. Don't focus on the destiny. Don't focus on all of these things are should be some of them should be some of them are really corrosive. Wealth and money, for example, is super corrosive. The reason being is because people will see wealth and money and they will pick. This is even. I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody, but somebody will pick the $50 an hour job, right? Because they saw wealth and money, and they would see this, and because that's what they wanted, it would distract them destiny, from their destiny, right? They would. I would actually separate the thing from the destiny, but I'll put them together because they're both distracting, right? Somebody can say, "Oh, I want to be a doctor," right? And honestly, okay, let me be careful here because I don't want to break anybody's dreams. So let's put it this way: somebody might say, "Oh, I want to be a surgeon," right? But because they're so focused on being a surgeon and not focused on the identity of being a surgeon, when the time comes for the testing, right, they will say, "Oh, I don't like this idea anymore. I will find my next possible thing because I'm not ready to give the time." But initially, they were willing to uh, because they liked the idea. They were focused on the thing. And it's helpful to see, focusing on the thing gives you this idea of if you shoot for the stars, right, you might land on the moon, right? So that's the idea of focusing on the thing. But if you focus on just being the kind of person that can get to any of these locations, right, these possible locations, and bring those things into existence, into your manifestation, your manifested reality, then it's not you hoping to reach the stars. You're hoping to just discover, right? You're hoping to just discover who you can be and how high you can go, right? And you're not concerned about the moon because that is a limited vision. You're not worried about the stars. Eventually, you find out that there are many stars, and you just want to keep going. This leads to something called the infinite, uh, the infinite game of self improvement, which is you're not concerned with the destiny anymore or some stopping point. You're always constantly improving yourself. So it's called the infinite game of self improvement. It's also called the infinite identity. Sorry, I'm writing that incorrectly. The infinite identity. This is when you understand that you are forever growing and who you are becoming can shift your destiny, right? So instead of instead of there being a shift because you didn't anticipate, your destiny is shifting now. Let me clarify that. You instead of you shifting the destiny and the outcome and the goal because you didn't anticipate and your identity wasn't big enough to absorb the shocks of what it takes to get you there, right? Now, now the difference is your identity is so impressive that you is so full that you can decide which um, destinies, which outcomes you want, because you have a better vantage point than when you started. And how you end might look completely different than how you started, because by the time you've gotten to the place where you need to be, you can see better than when you started. And that's why they said just get started. You'll figure things out along the way because you'll start to see things that you didn't see before. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Even this, like I never thought I'd be talking about any of this at this point and that I'd have a lot to say. But I just started and I said, you know what? I'm interested in this area. I want to explore this. Let me talk to somebody about this. And that's why I'm putting these ideas out there. So I'm interested in discussions about this. I want to expand this. If it's too early to say, but I will continue to work on myself and the ideas that I present. Maybe I can write a book someday. But I'm not going to focus on that, right? I'm going to focus instead on becoming, right? And we'll see where we end up. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Once again, my name is Obi. And if you're new to this channel, like, subscribe, you're welcome. And there are things, you're welcome here, and there are things that you can learn, the things you want to learn or want to discover, absolutely comment that. And of course, if you're returning, I just want to appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.